introduce the president of the Chicago Building Congress, the CBC, Mr. Sean Harris from Livewire Construction and BlackRock Construction.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming. Man, it feels like my birthday. All my favorite people are here. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm very, very happy and very appreciative of all the support. This is wonderful to see you all come out and support this opportunity and support Chicago Building Congress and our IDEA Committee. So, without further ado, I want to also just welcome our CBC members, guest sponsors, CBC members and friends, and also our elected officials. Do we have any elected officials in the house that, I know Will Davis was here. Anybody else? All right. Maybe they don't want to say nothing. I don't know. Give it up for the band again. Great job with the band. Where's Michael at? This is Michael's band. This young man started his own business, teaching children and adults music, and for him to have that insight and that skill to start his business, and I know he might look like he's 40, but he's only 25 years old. Michael, raise your hand. Very proud of that young man. All right, so really just want to get into why we're here tonight. The Chicago Building Congress has been around for 80 plus years. And this organization is some of the largest contractors in Chicago that quite frankly have built Chicago, right? And we also, in this room, we have diverse contractors that have also been advocating to build and have been building this piece of Chicago. So we said, why don't we just put them in the room together so that we can continue to build Chicago together despite the noise that's in the atmosphere about the things that's happening in this administration right now. At the end of the day, it's about us working together and not letting outside forces steal what we have built together already. Chicago is strong. Yes, it is. That definitely deserves a hand clap. Chicago is strong because we have worked together, because we have embraced one another, because we have not left one another behind. That's why if you go anywhere in this country, right, they will take Chicago labor. They respect Chicago contractors because we mean business and we take care of business. So tonight we want to put you all in the room together to say, hey, how do we do more business? Because right now, we're in the age where we need to work together. This is the age of the mega contracts. This is where general contractors that can typically take on one project, they need partners because these are billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar projects all over the United States. So here is where we start making those inroads and building those conversations, exchanging ideas, right, about how do we get there? How do we get there together? How do we not leave someone behind that, guess what? You might have 25 guys, you might have 5 guys, but I need 200 on this job, and you can help me get there with your manpower. So, I encourage you all to, thank you very much. But I encourage you all, I'm not done yet, I'm not done yet. You're gonna have plenty of time to clap for me tonight. Thank you. See, and that's why I feel like it's my birthday. Thank you. Is that you, Tiffany? Thank you, baby. I appreciate that. My wife is back there. Where's your hand, baby? Yeah, she's entertained every night. All right. Moving forward. But seriously, that is why we're here tonight, and I don't want you all to leave here, please, without getting a card, sharing your information with the contractor that is doing business, and I'm talking to everyone in the room. This is how we move the needle and how we stay connected and why Chicago is different. So, with that, I also want to give a shout out to our membership chair, Michael Gift. Raise your hand, please, sir. They're doing their best to keep me on script. So, on November 19th, we have an event at the Field Studios, right? And it's a membership drive. So if you like the things that you're hearing here tonight, and you like the energy that is in this room tonight, we implore you to come to this event. Continue to grow this membership. Grow this membership as a diverse membership of thoughts, ideas, backgrounds, and people. Right? That's how they've been around for 80 plus years, right? So the only thing we can do is just make it stronger with our presence. So that's a special event that we'd like you all to attend. It's at the TV studios, the Field Studios, where if you're a member and you bring a member, you will get that non-member in for free. So let me say that again. If you're a member and you bring a non-member, you will get that member in for free. Is that right? So if y'all get to the door and they tell you guys something different, call RJ, raise your hand. Go see RJ. Don't call me. Go see RJ, because that's what's in the script here. I don't remember us voting on this, but okay, whatever. I said it now. It's too late. All right. Speaking of membership, we want to really take a time and take a moment for one of the members that has been instrumental in so many things that this organization has done and continue to keep it moving. He's been a board member and he's also been president. So we'd like to bring up Pat Healy from Bully and Andrews and show you a little bit of appreciation. Pat, could you please come up? Come on up, Pat. Oh, Pat. Did Pat leave? Pat left. Did Pat leave? Is there anybody here from Bully and Andrews? Where's he at? Okay. You got to come up and receive it on behalf of Pat Healy. You know Pat don't smile that much. Awesome. All right, continuing on. I'd like to, this event would not be possible if it were not for our sponsors. So I'd like to read off our sponsors right now. And if you hear your name called, give yourself a little bit of appreciation and yell out, call your name, give yourself a hoot and a holler. Smart Concrete Technology. All right, that's how we do it. That's how we do it. Represent yourself. This is our refreshment level sponsors. So I'm gonna have another old fashioned on you guys before I leave. Coordinated, which is Coordinated Construction Project Control Services. All right. All right, thank you for showing up. And thank you for your sponsorship. Silver sponsors. Brown and Moman, Charlene. Where's Brown and Moman? Where Ernest Brown at? You tell Ernest Brown I'm looking for him. But I do appreciate his silver sponsorship. Charlene Electric. All right, Charlene Electric. GWO. GWO could not be here tonight, and I knew that in advance, but I appreciate their sponsorship. And Beco. Where's my Beco people at? Where's my Beco family at? Irma, can you come up next to me for one quick second while I finish reading off my sponsors? And I see my Beco family and my original Beco members that helped start this organization called Beco back in the day. That actually, this is how we found out about this location originally through Beco. I'm gonna read off the other sponsors. Now, I expect a whole lot of noise on this one. Live Wire Construction. Black Rock Construction. Come on, man. Berkeley Construction. Titan Electric. Wow. Titan is deep. And Power in Chicago. These are all of my gold sponsors. And the pièce de resistance, the platinum sponsor, Clayco. And everybody giving up for Clayco. So, it was really, and thank you sponsors for everything that you did and your sponsorship. It really meant us having an event here, specifically at Taste 222. This is a black-owned establishment, and we are very, very happy to support it. And we want to continue to identify locations like this that we can support with our business and our dollars. But I brought Irma up because BICO is, that's kind of like outside of my own businesses, BICO is the first organization, my first brainchild that came into existence and is now 10 years strong. That's right. But BICO had a membership meeting tonight and they canceled it so that they could be here and support. So I just want to give Irma, who's the executive director, who's a fantastic executive director for BICO, and give her a moment just to, she shut her meeting down tonight for BICO so that they can be here and support. Can you just take a minute and just give us, show us some love and give us some words of wisdom?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, welcome to each of you all for coming out tonight to celebrate the CBC. I tell you, when I look around the room, right, I've been in this room a number of times. I've been at CBC events a number of times, but the CBC events have never looked like this. This is what real construction looks like in Chicago. This is what makes us different from everybody else. It's the Claycos in the room. It's the Powering Chicago. It's the Clark Constructions, the CTA, and the list goes on and on and on. Each one of you are very, very valuable partners to all of us, to the construction industry. This is what we look like. This is what makes Chicago unique. And this will make us different from anybody else in the industry. In 2025, we had our inaugural gala. And the title of the gala was The Blueprint. We dared to do something different. We dared to set the blueprint and the standard for what construction looked like here in Chicago. And many of you were there to help celebrate us, to tell us that you were standing with us as we dare to do something different in the industry. And so we thank all of you for doing what you do, for celebrating, for supporting, for showing up when people say that we can't come together and do things. And I say to Sean, the CBC is going to be in a better place because you are the president. Give him a round of applause. What you've done for black contractors throughout our region, in Chicago specifically, has never been done before. They said we couldn't do it. They said that black people can't get together and stay together for nothing. And we've showed them that we are going on 10 years. 2026, we'll be celebrating our 10th year anniversary. And that's something to be said. We are 200 members strong. We're representing 200 firms and county. That's something to be said. And we could not do it without you all. Each and every one of you are so important to the success of construction in Chicago and to us building Chicago better and better every day. And to the CBC and Sean, we salute you, congratulations, and we know that the CBC is in good hands.
Thank you very much, I appreciate that. I really do. Give it one more hand clap for Irma Holloway. You can't buy that kind of support, right? That's from the heart, and that's continuing to bring organizations together. And it's almost like this was strategically, done and put together for it to be this way. I want to acknowledge elected official Will Davis, State Representative Will Davis. We appreciate your support and everything that you do for us, and You always standing in the gap and advocating for us. Thank you so much. Please give a hand clap to State Representative Bill Davis. All right. Moving on with tonight's services, speeches, speakers, all of that. I got caught up in the church mode, I'm sorry. I'm a PK. So our speakers tonight are good friends of mine, and they've agreed to come and speak to y'all tonight on so many important topics, and I want to let you guys know who's coming up. It'll be Juan Pablo Prieto from CTA. Yep. Richard Martinez from Metropolitan Water Reclamation District, MWRD. And my great friend, Mary Person, Senior VP at Clayco. But before they come up, I want to introduce the chair of the IDEA Committee here at CBC, Tony Graham, a great friend of mine, in the trenches, shoulder to shoulder, making this happen. She loves to give speeches and be in front of crowds. So let's make sure we give her a happy and healthy hand clap. Come on here, Tony.
So all of that is not true. I am very shy. I will be very quick. Again, I'm Tony Graham. I am the chair of the IDEA Committee. And I want to first extend my warm and heartfelt welcome. I'm so spoken. To each of you. We are grateful that you've taken the time to come out and share this event with us. To share our commitment of fostering inclusion, celebrating diversity, and also ensuring equity and accessibility across our community, across everything that we do. The IDEA Committee was created with one purpose, with one person in mind, and it was my voice and all of our voice within our community is to make sure it's heard, is respected, and it is valued. Today's event is that mission. We have the opportunity for us to come together, learn from one another, move forward with intention, with intentional actions, and strengthen our culture. Whether you've been involved with IDEA today, or if you've been with us the long journey that we've been around, your presence here matters. It's through conversation like these, open, honest, courageous, and we understand our perspective and sparks meaningful conversations. We encourage you to listen deeply, engage thoughtfully, and leave today inspired to continue champion IDEA in your daily work and interactions. Once again, welcome and thank you for being part of the important journey together. Together we're not just talking about inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility, we are living it. And, it's now my pleasure to introduce Juan Pablo, Director of Diversity Programs and DBE Liaison Officer for the Chicago Transit Authority, who will speak briefly on the state of the Disadvantaged Business Enterprises program. Let's give a warm welcome to Juan Pablo.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Juan Pablo Prieto. I'm happy to be here today. Thank you for the invitation. Just to give a brief overview of where we are with the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, or DBE program. For those of you who don't know, U.S. Department of Transportation issued an interim final rule on October 3rd, which was effective immediately, that removed the presumption of social and economic disadvantage based on race and sex. And so what the interim final rule, or IFR, has instructed every state unified certification program to do is to recertify every DBE that's currently in the directory. So the Illinois UCP has come together. There's 5 partners that make up the UCP. It's IDOT, City of Chicago, CTA, Metro, and PACE. We've met a number of times since October 3rd to figure out how we're going to process this and be in full compliance with the IFR, but at the same time do it as quickly as possible so that we can reestablish the DBE directory. The DBE directory has been turned off because of this recertification process and cannot be turned back on until all of us in Illinois are done. And so for any DBEs in the room, you have until November 24th to turn in your personal narrative in which you have to detail how you are socially and economically disadvantaged through your own personal experiences without relying on race or sex. Your personal narrative and your personal net worth statement are due by November 24th to your host agency. So whoever certifies you, you have to turn it into them. Each of us run our own process differently for certification, so I encourage you to reach out to your certifying agency, find out how they want you to submit your personal narrative and P&W statement so that you can get that in as quickly as possible. The IFR is explicit in saying that firms that do not meet the deadline established by the UCP will be decertified immediately and have no appeal process. So I strongly encourage you, I continue to say November 24th, make sure that you're communicating with your host agency to get your personal narrative and P&W statements in. We're not able to set any DBE goals until then, until the recertification process is complete. And we're not able to count DBE credit until the recertification process is complete. So we want to move this as quickly as we can here in Illinois, but at the same time be fully compliant with the interim final rule. The interim final rule did not, however, limit our ability to continue our small business support programming. So CTA and the other partners continue with the programming that we've had. At CTA, we have Building Small Businesses, which is an Access to Capital program. We have a Small Business Educational Series, Driving Small Business the Distance. We have various programs to help small businesses be competitive and compete for CTA work. So please continue to reach out to us. We did host a town hall on October 7th, where we talked about the interim final rule and what was needed to be submitted. That link for that will be on IDOT's website, so you can watch the live stream again if you missed it. We will be hosting another town hall, so stay tuned shortly for the flyer for that, so that you can come out and hear again about the interim final rule and what needs to be submitted. So again, happy to be here tonight. We continue on with our contracting and support services for small business programs. And for all the DBs in the room, just got to get through this process so that we can turn the UCP directory back on. Thanks again for having me.
Fantastic. Got this, RJ. Got this. You know him. Been doing this 15, 20 years or something like that. All right. Juan Pablo, let's give it up again for Juan Pablo. I sit on the CTA Diversity Committee, and I can tell you there is no fierce of an advocate than Juan Pablo. He educates us when we try to get out of line about why can't we do this, Juan Pablo? Why can't we do that, Juan Pablo? And he has to recite the rules to us about the program so that CTA can stay in compliance. But we really appreciate you, Juan Pablo, and I'm sure we're going to have a lot more questions about this program and what we need to do moving forward. And I will definitely share that information when it comes to me as well. I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Richard Martinez from MWRD. So Richard has been a fantastic advocate. He definitely picked up arms and from his predecessors, and I would say he definitely raised the bar to what it means to advocate for M and WBEs. I think Richard's been doing a fantastic job with MWRD. MWRD has a lot of work, and I think he's going to share that with us right now. So let's give a fantastic hand clap for Richard Martinez.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate that. Good evening.
Good evening.
My first time here, so shout out to Heather from Smart Concrete for extending the invitation. So she gets a promotion or a raise, right, Sean? And great to be with some of our assist agencies. So Sean and Irma from Black Contractors, Owners, and Executives is one of the 30-plus assist agencies that our section works very closely with at the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago. Nice short name. Not to be confused with the City of Chicago Water Department. I've had that conversation multiple times tonight. But we handle all of the wastewater treatment for Cook County. We treat over, 1 billion gallons of wastewater each and every day. We have 7 plants throughout Cook County. The world's largest wastewater treatment plant is Stickney. You probably smell it when you're on 55, so you know what I'm talking about. But there's a lot of money in that stuff, right, Sean?
That's right.
So Livewire is one of our MBE subcontractors doing work with us currently. Colleen in the back at Evergreen Supply, I know that Evergreen's done a lot of work with us in the past. And so we hope to engage many of you to do business with us at MWRD. Once again, my name is Rich Martinez. I am the administrator for the Diversity and Contracting section at MWRD. I've been with the district for 26 years, been in government for 30 years, looking to retire in the next 2 years. So I'm trying to help and bless and support as many firms and businesses before I leave.
Bless us, Rich.
Amen, amen, amen. So, and I'm really grateful to be up here also with Juan Pablo and Mary. I don't know where's Mary at. There you are. They squeezed me in between you guys, so thank you for accommodating me. But real quick, we've got a huge job. It's the battery activated sludge facility at our O'Brien plant in Skokie, and it's at least $300 million job, anywhere from 300 to 375 million. I'm not going to go through all of the specs. I'm not an engineer, but I play one on TV. But there's basically a whole new set of tanks that handle the wastewater treatment process. A lot of electrical, a lot of concrete, a lot of steel. I know a lot of our GCs are assembling their teams. The bid opening has been pushed back to November 18th. We have had 2 online informational sessions for specifically for the subcontracting community. So last Friday, I think we had 35 MW and VBE subcontractors that participated in the scope of work review from our engineering department. We are going to have one more on November the 7th. And we have affirmative action goals on that contract of 20% MBE, 10% WBE, and 3% VBE, which means we're looking at a potential spend of anywhere from 61 to 74 million dollars for MBEs, 30 to 37 million for WBEs, and somewhere between 9 and 11 million for our VBE firms. We also have additional work, so I know we've got some electrical firms in the house here. We've got the electrical power distribution and phosphorus removal improvements at Curie. That's about 22 to 27 million. That's going to be bid on November 18th with goals of 13% MBE, 7% WBE, 3% VBE. And we also have, there was a site walkthrough today on the rehab of service tunnel expansion joints. Once again at the Curie plant, 20% MBE, 10% WBE, 3% VBE. And then we've got a couple of furnish, deliver, repair parts and services for trucks and trailers. Furnish, deliver, and install grid screw conveyors at the Calumet Water Reclamation Plant. So we are pushing out some work in this last quarter. We are also working on our budget. So the budget hearings are coming up beginning of December. Budget will be approved by the end of December. I do want to say that we are a self-certifying agency. So if you're certified by the City of Chicago or Cook County, you can send that to us. We're still going to have to put you through the process, but it's a streamlined process. So we've been helping a lot of firms. We've been doing a lot of outreach. We focus on contract compliance, certification, advocacy, and outreach, which is why I'm here tonight. My email is martinezr@mwrd.org. I've got some white cards on the table in the front there with QR codes, so you can look up a lot of this information. If you have any additional questions, stop by and see me before the evening's done. Thank you very much for having me tonight.
All right, thank you so much, Rich. Another round of applause for Rich Martinez. And I'm gonna tell you, Rich, I don't know if we had much choice because Heather was pretty adamant about the fact that we were gonna have you. It was gonna be a problem on this panel tonight. This is a huge project that's coming out. Where's Titan Electric at? Titan? All right, now listen, you heard all this money that's coming down the pipeline. You got a lot of electrical contractors in here tonight, myself included. I'm just saying. Let's see if we can make a deal, all right? I'll put you on blast. I'll let you know how it turns out. Where's Rocha at? Where's Chris Garza at? All right, I see you back there. I got us a deal, bro. Don't worry about it. Meet me in the parking lot. All right. Last but not least, I want to introduce a very good friend of mine. I have been following her career, not like a stalker or nothing, but I've been following her career because I've been so impressed by her work. She was at the CTA and did great work there. She went to FH Passion and was a beast over there, right? And now she's at Clayco, and she's a monster, right? She's really she's a game changer for businesses. She's been a game changer for my business. She's been a game changer for so many businesses that have stayed the course and done good business, and she's recognized them and given them opportunities when they've been ready. She opened that door for them, and those businesses walked through, and they've been successful. So I just want to know, Mary Persons, would you come up here and shed some light on us with all of your grace and honor? Thank you so much for coming here tonight.
First, I want to say thank you to CBC for having our entire Chicago construction ecosystem here in one room. Like, this is absolutely amazing. And I have to agree with JP, I call him JP and everyone else. This is my first time coming to CBC. I actually have never attended a meeting before. So Sean, amazing for bringing all of us in the room, because how many of you in this room have attended a CBC meeting before? See? And it should be everybody's hand up. So now everybody who's here that hasn't been here and that's not a member, we're going to expect membership from everybody, right? Because we see the value that CBC brings to Chicago. But no, thank you so much for having us out here tonight, especially during this time when everybody is kind of in a lull. Like, we're all numb right now, not knowing what to do, how business is going to flow. And for a while, construction wasn't moving in Chicago. And within the past, few months, our mayor has been able to help get things moving. Our Commissioner Boatwright, has been able to help get things moving in Chicago. And so now we have Quantum moving on the southeast side. I have to say that because that's my project. Quantum moving on the southeast side. We have, cranes going up for high rises. We just talked about our One Fulton project Clayco's going to be building. Hint, hint. In Fulton Market, that'll start next spring. 1901, I'm sure everybody knows about our 1901 project, not our Chicago 1901 project that's going. So just because a rule passed in October, right, saying that the DBE program has some new changes to it, that hasn't stopped business in Chicago. And what that means is your partners who you've built over the past 10, 20 years will always be your partner. Sean is always going to be my partner, whether he has a certification or not. So wherever I go, Sean goes. And that should be the expectation that we hold our GCs to. So Javed I know Javed is here. Javed is always in the room, and he's always figuring out ways to support minority contractors, certification or not, right? Like Walsh, I love Walsh. But we can still hold them to that same fire. I believe the Dave Shires and the other members of Walsh still believe that they have partners in our minority contractors. We need to just remind them that certification doesn't change how you do business. It just changes the certification that you hold in your hand. That doesn't mean you're going to stop doing CTA work because Juan Pablo says you're not part of the UCP, right? Because you're still part of the partnership at FH Fashion. I love FHP, and I know for a fact that they're not going to stop doing business because a certification isn't there. They're going to keep going to the lowest qualified bidder that's going to get the job done, that they can trust that is going to execute. Because that's how we look for contractors. On Quantum Shores, most people don't even know do you guys know what a quantum computer is? I didn't know what a quantum computer is. They talked about a mouse doing something in a maze and making it go faster. And so none of us knew what quantum was, but we found partners. BlackRock, Pete stays on me all the time. He's like, Mary, I know I can get this job done for you. And so Pete is amazing over at BlackRock with Angela. Why? Because they're like, hey, we know we can execute for you. So tell us how and when and where we need to be so we can get it done for you. That is what we're looking for out of contractors, not a certification. So I'm charging all of you, right? I'm challenging all of you to, let's not worry about that, right? Get whatever documentation JP said you need to get in just to get it in, but continue with business as usual, because that is how we're operating. We haven't stopped. 1901, we're like, okay, who do we have in Chicago? Sam Boyne. Sam, raise your hand. Like, I may say, hey, go find Sam, because Sam reaches out to everybody to say, hey, Clayco just building 1901 right now. Like, can you do this work? If you can, I'm putting you on our bid list. We didn't ask you about a certification. We may ask you what your capacity is, though, because that is what's important. What's your capacity? How many people do you have on the job at one time? What is your safety rating, right? That is more important than any certification ever. So my daughter laughs at me. She's like, Mom, what are they going to do, right? I was like, they're not going to do anything. It's going to be the same thing that we do every single day. We are going to look at the qualified bidders that we have, and we're going to work with them, and we're going to make the ones that aren't qualified better so they can get qualified on our next job. Because Sean is right. Clayco is building all over the United States. If anybody wants to do work in Haskell, Texas, let us know. Because that is going to be a beast of a job, right? Haskell, Texas, we're doing work in Bridgeport, Alabama, right? We're looking for people who we can take across the United States with us. And across the United States means across the United States. It doesn't matter about your certification. So I want to say it again and say it again, right? Your job for the next few, I hate to say years, unfortunately, we're only 18% done with this administration right now, but your job for the next few years is going to be to build relationships. Show up to the CBC meetings and meet new people. Find out where the next job is going to be in another state and find out what it takes you to travel to these other states. Let's not worry about what is happening over in Washington, D.C., except for the tariffs, but I understand that's important too. But let's not worry about the certification side, is what I'm saying. It's happening in D.C. Let's focus on how can we network and become better partners. Keep challenging me. Sean stays on me. He's like, so Mary, you're going to Clayco. I don't do business with Clayco right now. How can I do business with Clayco? I was like, Sean, I got you. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out, right? And so I think we've changed our relationship at Clayco in the last few years, right? And we built a relationship with BlackRock, right? We built a relationship. Titan, I know you're one of our contractors. I think right? Right. So just like Sean said, they're going to be bidding our work, which means that you all should be bidding with them. I see Larry Whitaker in the back, WD3, right? Let me just tell you, O'Hare 21, we're one of the O'Hare 21 CMARs. That's not a DBE regulated program. That's still M&W. And as far as we know, M&W is still moving, right? Which means we're still held to an M&W standard. So I still challenge you. Don't just look at the work that's like, oh no, what are we going to get now? We are no longer fighting for 26 and 6, that means, right? And I say we because we're minorities, right? We're not fighting for 26 and 6 anymore. We're fighting for the whole 100%. So let's go get the 100% and not worry about that 26 and 6, right? And I promised I wouldn't say anymore. I was like, I got to filter myself to make sure I don't go too deep into it. But guess what, people? We are going to go out and we're going to build Chicago. We have United Center. We have Quantum. We have an O'Hare that we're building. CTA is always going to have to build something, whether you have a DBE program or not. So continue to be partners with JP. I do have to say this one quick. JP and I work together. Aww. And I said, I am not worried. So my daughter says, what is they going to do, right? I'm not worried about it. JP dealt with me when I was pregnant. So if JP can deal with pregnant Mary, he can deal with a little rule that's changing our DBE program. He withstood that, and he is here to attest that it happens, right? So then that means he is going to fight through this, and he's going to fight for you all to make sure that you all get a piece of whatever pie happens at CTA. Thank you so much, and you guys have a great night.
So I received it, Mary. Livewire actually grew out of the program once already, and we plan to do it again. Give it up one more time for Mary in person. Senior VP. not just DBE consultant or DBE for Clayco. She's a senior vice president. So kudos to you. You deserve that. You earned that. So we're so proud of you, right? And what I've taken away from that is we're going from handing over certifications to handing over our business cards for a handshake and building relationships. My plan is to leave the MBE and DBE and all the other EBE elemental Ps behind because we're just good at what we do, right? But I don't want to go by myself. I don't want to go by myself. I want you guys to come with me, right? And I want to one day compete against Titan, right? And I want them to maybe be my partners, right? Or we do a joint venture together, right? So that's what we're in this room to do tonight. We're in this room to grow and find partners, to exchange ideas, and to grow. So with that said, the bar is open.